Sex work is widespread, just like the portrayal of sex. It was not unusual in Pompeii that representations of sex, of various practices, of very large penises were found in public spaces. That is what we can hardly imagine today, not least because at that time there was no division between privacy and the public, so you still went to the toilet together. With enlightenment, reason becomes the most valuable virtue of man. Everything physical, especially sexual drive, becomes as threat to the order of civil society. The representation of sex is now repressed. 2,000 years after the fall of Pompeii, archaeologists excavate the remains of the city and are completely overwhelmed by what they see there. The finds are classified as addictive. Pornography and censorship are now inseparable from each other. Today, it is mainly about youth protection. According to paragraph 184, anyone who offers a person under the age of 18 a pornographic content is punishable, leaves it or makes it accessible, or allows a person to come who does not want to see this content. No one is officially allowed to watch porn here. The reality looks different. I grew up with my mom, dad, and my sister here in Berlin. Then I did my PhD degree, did a physiotherapy training, and worked for 6 years in the profession with seriously injured children. That was an incredibly grateful and wonderful job. Then I met my boyfriend. We suddenly built a completely new life. A different form of relationship, a different perspective. We thought more openly, thought differently. We went to swinger parties. We didn't pay attention to what the others might think of us. We were a team, and you could feel that. At some point, I came into contact with people who work in the erotic business. I was very impressed by the characters and the way they could work freely, and how independent of these social norms it can work, and how happy you can be with it. That gave us the opportunity to do something with eroticism. Everything that is so repulsive, which I always pushed away from me, suddenly it felt good to think about it. And you still had the restraint and strength of the partner who said, "Let's try it, we have nothing to lose," and then I just dared to do it. Most of the pornography is produced in Germany by women in their own direction, in their own 4 walls. The performers share their content on large platforms which work like social networks like Instagram or TikTok. The difference? The users pay for the content. If this person is a fan of orny, it has a completely different aura in some circles. Influencers like Katja Krasavica, who had nothing to do with pornography before, say, "I'll do it now. I now expand my portfolio with this content." On webcam portals like Chatterbait, women mostly offer live shows. Most male visitors pay per minute for watching or chatting. Extra wishes cost extra. On OnlyFans, creators share explicit photos and videos in the monthly subscription. Then the next question came up. If at least a private meeting is possible. No, I don't do any meetings. And the next message. No is accepted. I know it's not meant badly, but for me it's stress. Because to be honest, I don't feel like answering it a 3rd time. So I answered him now that I thank him for his interest. And that I don't do any meetings, dates, or shoots, not much money either. And that I ask him to respect that, and what he would think of doing a live cam date. No basket, but still sticking to my thing. It's not easy sometimes, but it's the only thing that I think will be respected in the long run. A little slip. So it's like a sexual soft chair. Because of this anonymity that people have on the internet, they have the freedom to talk about certain preferences and fetishes that they don't dare to talk about with their partner. They often come to me with that. So that also has a therapeutic aspect. Sometimes it's just to live out this fantasy once, how it feels to wear women's underwear. As an example, how does it feel to have something in your butt? These are things that nobody talks about. But there is an incredibly large field of men, and probably also women, whatever, who have exactly this preference, and who just want to have a little understanding for what they do. And a lot of people say, "What kind of pervert are you?" No. What does that do to someone inside who just had the courage to go to his partner and say, "Let's try this, honey," just like that? And then you get such a feedback, that's sporty. So you have to deal with it personally and emotionally first. To be thrown into the closet by someone you love, I think the person will never open up again. So heavy here. And this one too. This one is even heavier. It's like Christmas better. I haven't received that many presents at Christmas yet. What are those? The monitors. StreamerZone just told me that my hardware is on the way. That means I can finally start streaming Twitch after months of back and forth. Wow, they're big. And what if no one likes that? As if. But those are the thoughts I have in my head. What if? What's all this for? You have so much to tell. People are just waiting to get to know the real Yoli, the Yoli. Twitch is a streaming platform that is used a lot by gamers. But in the meantime, many people use it for just chatting, to build up a community or to answer questions. There are many girls you know who switch to Twitch, and the people are completely different than on other channels. What do I expect from it? I have no idea. I want to communicate with people. I want to be able to get to know myself differently. After all, the people have shown me that they want to see more of me than just my looks. That comes from my people, from my community. You look sexy, was that the thing? It's really heavy, yes.
It also fits my mini ears.
Really good. Look at this. I'm not a pimp. Now I'm getting serious. I'm so perfectionist that I have so many different variants in my head about what could go wrong and why. And that makes me nervous. In society, there is this double morality. Everyone watches it. Everyone does their thing in front of the laptop. But the actors are the bad ones. And I think, hey, what are the bad ones? You consume it. You enjoy it with all kinds of body parts. And then I'm the bad one. I'm the good one, actually. We have a fascination with women as a sexual object and a panic for women as a sexual subject. On the one hand, they have to be kept as small and invisible as possible. On the other hand, they have to be staged and monetized. Without women, there would be no porn industry, but only a few become stars or make it into an influential position behind the camera. One woman mixes up the brothers of post-war Germany, Beate Jusse. In the Second World War, she flew as a pilot for the Luftwaffe. In the midst of the post-war years, the daughter of a doctor sells the letter X. The little booklet explains about the cycle and contraception. Complete marriage 100. Yes. Sexual technology 10,000. Yes. Beate Jusse opens in 1962 the first sex shop in the world in Flensburg. As a specialist for marriage hygiene, in 1975, porn becomes legal in the Federal Republic. Beate Jusse becomes a porn producer and makes headlines. Her sex empire makes the mother courage of the taboo break rich and controversial. More than 2,000 complaints about injury of morality and decency, she will fight them over the years and win. The 1980s and 1990s are shaped by these two porn stars and businesswomen. Teresa Orlovsky builds her own porn empire. Dolly Buster produces films with her husband Dino, the old Dolly Buster films where she also directed. Then you went to Africa, and then you see on a jeep in the middle of the savannah two people having sex. And in the background, the elephants run by. And then you think, what an effort they made back then. There was a completely different budget back then. I don't know, 150,000 marks for a production, and it's not feasible anymore. I met Dolly Buster, and I know her very well. She has remained so faithful. She apologizes for her actions.